Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our next live stream. I'll be your producer for this session. Before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional, and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters to answer live. Our session is being recorded. It will be available to view on demand right here on the Reactor channel. With that, I'd love to turn it over to our speakers for today. Thank you for joining.
Hey, hello. Hello, everyone. And
Hello.
hello, Omar. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Brian. You are looking so good, and
Thank you.
I think we have fantastic subjects today.
Yeah, indeed. So bring AI to SQL with embeddings, search, and RAG. That's a lot of content, and it's all about content for the DP-800 certification path. So without further ado, let's get down to it. And I have the first slide is actually a big question of, who are you, Omar?
Thank you, and welcome everyone. I am Omar. I am a Microsoft Data Platform MVP from Turkey. And today, we will talk about the SQL Server 2025, Azure SQL, and the AI skills. And at first, I want to say that the SQL Server 2025 is a fantastic platform with fantastic AI features. And today, Brian will talk about these features, and I will show a little bit demonstrations, amazing demonstrations that I think that you will like it. And let's start.
Sure, thank you. I also have a slide about myself, actually. My name is Brian. I'm also a data platform MVP. I'm a data geek riding a motorcycle here in Denmark. Actually, I'm from Denmark. So I see a lot of people around the world. In the comments, I see people from the US, from Europe, from East Asia. So that's amazing. I'm also available on LinkedIn if you want to hang out with me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to blog, and I have my own company called probi.dk. So enough about me. Let's talk about the things that we're actually in right now. We are in a path of a lot of sessions about the DP-800 SQL AI developer certification. On May 5th until May 21, those are already done, where we talked about there was an exam tour both in US and in APAC. And then we had a design and develop SQL solutions like a pro in May 19, and May 21 was all about securing and optimization the SQL solution with confidence. Today, we're talking about how to bring AI to SQL using embeddings, search, and RAG. So we have a lot to discuss. And in 2 weeks' time, it's the last session about prepare for the exam day. If you want to hook up for that, go to aks.ms/dp800/live to sign up for the last one, where we will answer all your questions. And if you want to influence how the SQL product roadmap looks like, join the SQL user panel. Microsoft would love to get your voice and your ideas heard. If you have any, and if you have any feedback, if you find any bugs that doesn't work, let the user panel know. Sign up using this QR code or go to aka.ms/join SQL user panel to join the user panel. It is not just yet another channel, but they actually listen to what you have to say. And if you can't get enough of knowledge sharing, we also have Azure Data user groups. You can almost always find a local user group near you where you can join both live and virtual. And you can sign up on aka.ms/azure-data-group/live or scan this QR code. We have a lot of QR codes. Actually, I have the last one for this part of the slides is we have more data days coming up. They are coming up constantly. I know of planned sessions about June, July, and August, so we have a lot to see in the future. Yet another QR code. scan it or go to aka.ms/datadays to hear more. Omar and I are not the only ones here because we are live and we are interactive. So all your questions will be answered by our two amazing moderators. First of all, Philippa. Philippa is a Microsoft Student Ambassador. She is amazing at answering all your questions. So is Taylor. Taylor Amy is also a part of the live chat right now in the channel. So ask all your questions. They will answer them accordingly. And if you have a really, really great question, they will be passed on to us, and then we will answer them live directly here on the chat and live today. But only live. If you see this on YouTube later on, perhaps tomorrow or a week after, sorry, but we can't answer your questions live, even though we would love to. Today we will cover designing and implementing models and embeddings with SQL, implement search with SQL, and also React with SQL. And as Omar just said, he has brought a few demos, so we will see them in action and how they actually work during this session. The data you will see today is public data. It is not any privacy about it. It is data that you can find anywhere on the internet, so no privacy concerns there. But the Microsoft Certified SQL AI Developer Associate, it's a two-star certification. It is the intermediate, and I'm really looking forward to us getting a 3-star certifications. Perhaps they will come later on. I don't know. It's about Microsoft SQL Server, of course, Azure SQL, and SQL databases in Microsoft Fabric. They'll test you about T-SQL developments. They will also test you about relational and semi-structured data models. They will also test you about continuous integration, continuous delivery on GitHub, using GitHub. And the new and very, very exciting things on SQL Server 2025 is these AI fundamentals with embeddings, vectors, and models. And also how to develop actually AI-assisted tools. As a role for taking this certification, you will be able to build secure and scalable database solutions and optimize them with a good governance around the workloads. Perhaps you're an app developer, DBA, an architect, AI and DevSecOps engineer, security and compliance teams. A lot of people could benefit from this certification. So if you are one of these, go ahead and take it. You can book it here at aka.ms/DP-800/exam, and you're good to go. So how about the journey? We have a strange orange box on the right here, but I'll keep the tension a bit because we have a lot of things going on here. First of all, the journey, the foundations to intelligence is, first of all, you'll be tested in the design and develop a database solution. This is roughly 35 to 40% of the questions. Next, you'll be tested in security and compliance with the same amount of coverage. Last but not least, AI capabilities. This is perhaps the most exciting one. Even though it only covers 25 to 30%, it is a really, really exciting part of the certification to working with embeddings, vectors, RAGs, and other part of the intelligent search. So Omar, what kind of experience do you have using the SQL Server 2025? There's a problem with the sound,
Okay.
I guess.
Okay, I see. My microphone is closed. And I'm using the Microsoft SQL Server 2025 for more than 1 year. And I can say that the vector features and the AI features are really fantastic. You know, AI is very skillful topic, but we have some concerns. For example, we are putting our data. The data is very valuable for us. And if we want to use the AI features with our data, so we don't know where we put our data. It's a closed box. But the SQL Server is a very secure place for us because we know the SQL Server. We know the SQL Server how use this data, and this is very fantastic feature to use the AI functions inside of our SQL Server. So we can use all the AI features without extracting our data to outside. and it's very transparent for us. And as you say, RAG works are very famous, very popular that we are using them in these times. And for example, I prepared 3 demonstration for you. One of it, the Walmart dataset. It's a public dataset, and as you know, we are searching the data in traditional way. We are using the keywords, but in this demonstration, we are using some emotional sentence to search data in our SQL Server. On the other hand, we have another demonstration too. It's a knowledge-based RAG application too. We have, you know, very popular forum website, Stack Overflow. I have this Stack Overflow data with about 4 million rows, and we are using this data and our RAG application answer our questions, our prompts, according to this data on my SQL Server 2025 on my on-prem server. And also, I have a surprise too. I have a robot, and I will show you a demonstration about a sales consultant. We are seeing a lot of demonstration with chatbots and the AI assistants, but this is a real robot, and I developed an AI assistant in this robot, and it directly communicates with the SQL Server 2025 with the vector functions, and it will help us to find the relevant products we search. And the last demonstration is, if we have time, the last demonstration is the NotebookLM application working on my laptop with SQL Server 2025 AI functions. So these are some of my experiences, and I want to share my experiences to our watchers.
Perfect. Thank you, Omar. And I just told the entire audience on YouTube that they should hang tight for these demos because they are really, really good. So I'm looking forward to the one with the robot. So let's hang tight and see if we can get everything up and running. But first of all, let's talk about design and implement models and embeddings with SQL. And the first slide of this part is actually, we're diving directly in because T-SQL code is perhaps the best way to demo things. So external AI models is actually just a create statement where you create your external model with a location of where it resides, of the credentials and the model types. And the model type here is, perhaps we will wait for them with just a few seconds, but first of all, we have 4 key concepts. The model evaluation, where you have to choose the model based on capabilities, latency, cost, and token limits. This is more or less how big of a computer do you want and how much money do you want to pay for it. Then you have the model types. These are embeddings or for vectors and completions for text generations. Text generations is if you want to generate perhaps a note to someone based on text you have on the SQL Server, whereas embeddings is where you search for things and you will get an answer, roughly speaking. I know that there is a more deep explanation about these 2 concepts, and those actually are part of the things that you need to read up on before taking this exam. Then we have the credentials. You can either use your own credential, or you can use a managed identity, or you can use whatever credential you would want. This is enterprise ready. And you can also secure the model using managed identities. So no secrets in code. You can just use a managed identity, and then you're good to go. You don't have to store any secrets anywhere in the code for this to be created. But first of all, designing an embed is, what can I embed and why should I embed it? Well, product description, should that be an embedding? Yeah, sure, because you have a rich semantic context where people would like to search in a natural language. Hey, can you give me all the products that are red and have 2 tubes on them? Yeah, sure, here they are. Customer review text is the same thing because this contains opinions and experience for semantic search, where you search on a word and that word might be interpreted as something else in the review text, and the SQL Server will try to find those words that correlate and return the text back to you. The same with technical documentation, where you search for something and perhaps the word is not entirely accurate where you search for it, but a synonym in the text or in the model is embedded and the documentation will be returned to you. Product names, maybe, because if you know the end users are searching for specific product names, hey, give me milk, I don't know, in blue cartons. Well, then you have a milk, that's a product name. But more or less, if you just search for, hey, give me all blue cartons that contains dairy, then that's not a product name. Then you'll still get the milk. Price, quantities, data codes, and ID, well, not so much, because people will very rare or seldom search for price, quantity, and status codes and IDs, because why? They don't know the IDs and they definitely don't know the status code. So with all of this combined, search for product names, custom review text, technical documentation, because those are long string text you can search for, where product names are very short names where you seldom search for them. The same with price, quantity, and status codes. This is not the entire checklist. This is more deep when you read up for the exam. So don't take our words as the Bible. More or less take it as a guidance on what to read up on before taking this exam. More or less, you also very important, you need to think about chunking strategies, because what is chunking? Chunking is how short can I make the word so it still makes sense, not to a person, but to a computer. So the shorter the word, the less tokens you're using. So long documents must be split into chunks, and long words will also be split into chunks. But the thing you can do is to split up documents into smaller chunks for the SQL Server to faster read them and index them. You will pay for the size, you will also pay for the sentence, you will also pay for the paragraph, and you will pay for the semantics. The semantics is the words. If the same word goes again throughout the entire document, could it perhaps be a headline instead? Could it be just a metadata name or word for that document? And if you have any overlapping text that includes text from adjacent chunks, you will pay for them unless you chunk them away. So bear in mind that if you have repeating text within the same document, try to chunk it down into smaller pieces to save both your tokens and to get a more optimized model out of it. You can get AI to generate these chunks, of course. The SQL Server has a very good engine to generate these chunks for you out of the box, but you will get a lot of performance by really knowing how to chunk data and how to help the SQL Server chunk it even better. Even though the SQL Server does a great job, you can do it better as a human. How are we storing these? Well, we have the source data. Then the SQL Server chunks that text into smaller pieces based out of your input, based out of the AI input that we just talked about. And then it generates all the embeddings and store them as vectors. The vectors is nothing less than a binary string, 011 0011, that points to where that text is stored, and then it generates an index for that search. If you've ever seen a vector, you can actually export it to a notepad, and it's just a text file. You can't get meaning out of it, but you can actually read it just as a text file. It will still be hocus pocus wordings for you, but it is just a standardized CSV file. We have some key functions here. We have the AI generated embeddings that converts text to a vector using the external model. We also have a vector where you define the vector size. We also have a vector distance that calculates the distance between two vectors. These are good for if you want to say, hey, this word looks like this other word. What is the maximum distance between two vectors that I will allow the model to return to the end user? Then we have the generate chunks we just talked about, where you can get the SQL Server to generate the chunks for you. Split the long text into smaller texts. No model without maintenance. So you need to update and maintain your model. You can do this in 4 different ways. You can do it trigger-based. So if you want it to be based out of DML triggers, so data manipulation language triggers, if data is inserted into a table, if it is updated, deleted, something, then it's trigger-based, so based out of a data manipulation language trigger, then that will be updated. You can do it in batches on scheduled jobs or stored procedure. Well, stored procedure still needs to be scheduled, but it can be called from an external system. With change tracking, if you enable change tracking on your source data, that can also quickly maintain your model. But again, it looks and tastes a bit like trigger, because when something happens in your source data, it'll trigger an update. And then there's the lazy one. I perhaps am a lazy coder, but not working with embeddings and AI, where you can just update it on demand. It doesn't have any background processing. But if you do it manually, the first thing will be slower. So pick your poison and decide on how you want to maintain your embeddings. Key takeaways. Create external model. It's a standardized SQL statement. It's just a create statement where you have external model as the object. You can use managed identity. You have a full secure passwordless access. And we talked about only embed the columns that have semantic meaning. So no IDs, no numbers, no status codes, only text, and text that has meaning to the model you're generating. Chunk your data up into smaller sizes, because you will pay for the tokens. You will also have higher precision because you have smaller chunks. And there's a payment there, because the larger chunks you have, the more context you will receive. So find the golden ratio between chunks, and you will have a good model. You can get help on generating the embeddings and the chunks with built-in store procedures using AI, and you can define the vector size. And then again, choose your poison on how you want to maintain your patterns. So Omar, I want to ask you something. So all of these demos that you are showing us today, how are you maintaining those? Are you maintaining them manually or with a trigger, or how are you doing it? I think you need to unmute yourself. You need to turn on the mic, Omar.
If I have a big data, I'm maintaining this all of this with manually, because in my SQL Server 2025 there is a limit. The limit is our vector index is, for now, it is read only for on-prem system, but the Azure SQL it is not read only. It fixed it, but in my the little database, I'm maintaining these are some of them with triggers and some of them with some jobs periodically.
Okay, thank you, Omar. Okay. That makes sense, and I'm glad that they actually made the model to not read only in Azure, where you have it on premise. It is read only, but in Azure you can just update it. That's great. So without further ado, and I see the chat online is really going good. So, but be nice to our moderators. They're doing a tremendous job answering all your questions. Next topic is, how do we implement search with SQL? We have a decision to make before we create the search. So what feature would you like to search on? Do you want a match feature where we matches on exact words and terms? Do you want to find synonyms like a thesaurus? Do you want to handle typos? Do you want to have a very fast model? Do you want to have how complex of a setup are you willing to make and create and maintain? And what are you actually using it for? So, and we have 3 models. We have full text search, we have vector search, and we have hybrid search. And in this table, this might be a good cheat table, if I could put it that way, for the exam, because you will get questions on, you have this model, you have these requirements. What model, what strategy would you like to implement using these input? So full text search, vector search, and hybrid search, where if you want it like a thesaurus, where you want to find synonyms, well, that It's actually best with a hybrid search or a vector search, where the synonyms only works if you have a thesaurus directly based on, hey, a man can also be a guy, if that's a synonym. You need that thesaurus to translate things, where in vector search and hybrid search, you'll get that out of the box. If you want it to be perhaps do not handle typos, if people can't spell, then do a full text search, because you will only get exact matches on those words that they're searching for. You won't get matches of if they can't spell, I don't know, car, if they put in an extra R. You won't get that out of full text search. You will only get that on vector search or hybrid search. And the same, if you want a very, very fast model, use the full text search. But again, then you won't get the typos handled. So it's up to you to decide, and then read on for setup complexity and what kind of output you want to create here. Let's dive into the full text search. For the full text search, you need to create a full text catalog for organizing these indexes. The full text catalog is, I can't remember on SQL Server 2025, but in the prior versions, you need to enable that when you install the SQL Server on premise. Can't remember for SQL Server 2025, I'm sorry. But remember, or at least note it down, that if you want to use full text search on your SQL Server on premise, you need to install it and make sure it is installed. I can't remember if it's a default setting on the installation media right now. Then create a full text index.
It's actually very old. It's actually very old feature. I remember that I used it, the full text search, even SQL Server 2000.
Oh yeah, you can find it, but I once installed a lot of SQL servers, and we missed the full text catalog. We needed to reinstall that afterwards. So I'm just saying here, make sure you have it as an enabled feature when you install it on premise. Then you create a full text index on the target columns. We just talked about target columns. What are target columns? They are not product IDs or product names. They are the text that you want to search for. And you also need to specify a unique key column, usually the primary key on that table, and choose a language if you want linguistic processing, where you will out of the box get some translations. I know Omar has a demo on translations later in his demo. And the query functions you can use, contains, free text, contains table, and free text table for your queries when you're running the full text search. The vector data types and index strategies, those were the other parts we had in the cheat table, where the vector data type is just a size of hang on. Yeah, the vector stores the embeddings natively, and the vector data type is the size. Common vector sizes is just a data type, is 768 or 1536 in the dimension count. Don't hang yourself in a thread about these sizes. If you are in doubt, just change the size afterwards. Or if you get an error on the SQL Server, just size it up. It is a normal change column data type where you can upsize the data size with a simple script. Dimension must match the embedded model output, where you can't search for something that's not in the model. This is what this bullet actually says. But if you have something that looks like something else, like synonyms or something, if you don't select the full text search but one of the two others, you get some of the synonyms out of the box. Everything in the vectors is stored as binary on the SQL Server. So when it is stored on the SQL Server, you can't export it and look at it. You can, of course, select it, but it won't make sense to you reading it. Then we have these distance metrics. How do we calculate the distance between two vectors? We have three options: either cosine, Euclidean, or dot product, where the cosine is just the distance between the two vectors. What's the shortest distance between the two vectors? That's a straight line. And if you want to limit, hey, only return where the answer is within this distance between the vectors, you can define those. The Euclidean is the absolute distance between points, where you define a circle of saying, hey, only return answers that is within this circle, where you have the dot product is the combination between cosine and Euclidean, where you can define the distance and you can also define the circle. Then we need also to talk about the KNN and the ANN. So the exact nearest neighbor. This is more or less of a brute force comparison between all the vectors, where you define, give me all the nearest neighbors of this point in my vector. This always, and it is almost guaranteed, it will find the nearest true neighbors to that vector. Whereas on the opposite, if you take an approximate, then it's way faster. It will give you an approximate nearest neighbor in this field based on mathematical equations. You will get way higher speeds, but you will lag a bit of the accuracy on the vector hits. So if you have a large data set, use the ANN. If you have a small data set and you have really critical accuracy scenarios, use the KNN, the exact nearest neighbor. How do we do this? Well, again, it's just a SQL statement. Vector distance in cosine, that's the model, cosine or Euclidean. Select your embedding, and then you'll get the results, and the same on vector search. Select from vector search table, and the column is embedding or whatever, and the query vector, you will select that. That is actually the query text. And then if you only want 10 records, do that, or if you want them all, do not add the top 10 or the top n equals 10 in either section. How does this work? It looks like more or less similar to the first topic we just talked about, whereas we create a full text search on either contains table or free text table. We create the vector search with defining the vector distance and the search, and then based out of that, it returns the, and hold your tongues, reciprocal rank fusion. I don't make the names here, but it is just a ranked result of which result fits the best the input that you just queried. So if you have a query and the result from the vector or the vector search or the full text search returns 2 results, you can select, hey, give me only the best one fitting, and based out of a mathematical equation, you can see it in the bottom here, you will get the best fitting answer out of that search. So how do we evaluate search performance? Well, we do a recall. So this is a human interpretation. So is this correct based out of what we asked? The same with precision. The latency, how fast was it? Is it okay? And do we have any index overhead that might consume memory and storage that we don't need? Could we minimize the index? Could we do something else with to get a fast model? Takeaways, and hang tight because we are diving into the first demo in just a few seconds. Key takeaways: full text search is excelling in exact keywords. Vector search handles semantic meaning, and hybrid combines both of them. Vector distance is just a scalar of the distance between 2 vectors. Vector search returns a table, and know when to use each. This is a good hint for the exam. Know when to use vector distance and vector search. The KNN and the ANN is the exact known numbers, or the approximate known neighbors and the approximate known neighbors, where the exact known neighbors give you 100% hit, where the approximate known neighbors, known neighbors, I can't pronounce it, sorry, known neighbors, there you go, where the approximate known neighbors will give you a roughly 90% hit rate on the known neighbors. Use the approximate for SQL Server for the T-SQL keyword that switches from ENN to ANN. And remember this reciprocal rank fusion, the RFF, that generates the score of the search to give you the best answer. And also, as a cheat sheet, print out or write it in your hand the cosine, the Euclidean distance on how they're used. So before we dive into the last topic of today, we still have 25 minutes. Omar, I think it will be amazing for you to show the first two demos.
Okay.
So if we could switch to your screen, and then
yes,
you could show
yes. I will share my screen. But before, I want to say something.
Sure.
The watchers heard about some academical topics, cosine distance, KNN, disk NNN, etc. I want to make it a little bit funny, so I have some enjoyable demos, and I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. The entire screen here. I think you see my screen. Okay. Let me open my, just a second here. Sorry.
But we see your Google search. Is that what
yeah,
you want to
I see. Chat with your data. Here, it's coming.
Perfect.
You see? Yeah.
Yes.
This is now, it's Turkish, it doesn't matter. So this is my Walmart application. So I have Walmart dataset. Let me show you. And here is my, just a second, I'm opening in my SSMS. Yes, here's my Walmart data. And this is my Walmart items table. It's a very public dataset, so you can find it anywhere. It's about 30,000 rows. So you see product URL, product name, description, list price, and the explanation about the product. And here is our vector data. As you see, it is very understandable for everyone with these numbers. But it is very understandable for the computer.
Yes.
Because the vectors keep the data as their meaning. And the vector is like a, it's vector like a body language. Let me show you a little bit slide about it here. And we have a scenario. In traditional search, for example, we have a middle-aged man looking for a car for himself. The question, I'm interested in a reliable car for daily use, something that's not too flashy. At the salesperson interpretation, because the salesperson has a lot of years experience, the answer is practical vehicle, reliable, mid-range, not support or luxury, sedan or compact SUV preferred. And after that, she started to query. The SQL query is like this: select star from products where category is equal car and description like reliable and description not like luxury, description not like support, etc. And according to these results, the salesperson's response is, if you are looking for something dependable and practical, I suggest Autoline Prisma 1.6 sedan, full efficient, low maintenance, and perfect for everyday use. It's a customer favorite for good reason. But it's a little bit old school. Let's look at the a little bit futuristic. The salesman is not a real salesman. She is our AI robot, and it's SQL Server 2025. And man asks again, I'm interested with reliable car for daily use, something that's not too flashy. This question is transformed to vector. As you see, here are vectors. And we don't see any keywords, and we see just some float numbers. And our query is change select top 10 star vector distance. Our calculation formula is cosine. The comparison columns is vector 1536 and our embedded vector variable from products ordered by similarity desk. And according to these results, our AI robot answers, if you are looking for something dependable and practical, I suggest the Autoline Prisma 1.6 setup. So let's see it in action. Here is our vector data, and here is my application. So I'm searching like this. I'm looking for a coffee which makes me feel premium. It is not a keyword sentence. It is a real emotional sentence. And we just have a coffee maybe as keyword, but all of them are emotional sentence. Let's try. I started to search. It's running on my SQL Server, my own laptop, and here is the result. And the answer is in Turkish. Answer in English. It is in Turkish because I put the prompt in T-SQL, answer in Turkish, and as you see, it's changed to language. So let's look at the procedure. And here is my procedure, search. Search item JSON here. So let me put my prompt here. I'm just putting this prompt here and sending it. It's a default value. The steps are like this. Embed the query prompt, create similarity search, prepare a raw data string for JSON prompt payload, prepare LLM JSON format, call OpenAI. I'm using OpenAI in here, parse the JSON answer. And here is the answer, as you see, all the answers coming from directly from SQL Server. And as you see, here is my prompt in T-SQL. Yes, you see answer in Turkish. Let me remove it. And all the data coming from directly in SQL Server. Another demo, and I will finish it. Another demo is Stack Overflow data. I have Stack Overflow data. You can get it as public. I have about 40 million rows data. And in this data, I want to sort something. And what are the query optimization techniques in SQL Server? Let's see the profiler. Here is my profiler. And start it. Run it. Yes, here is coming from directly my dataset. My dataset is here. No, this is Stack Overflow data. This is my data, Stack Overflow data. This is title and body and the embedded string. This is a little bit different because in here at the Walmart sample, I'm using vector distance function, and it uses the table scan. But in Stack Overflow data, I have a lot of rows, and it will be very slow with table scan. And in Stack Overflow data, I'm using another function, another AI function, search item JSON. I'm using the vector search function. Vector search function is using the directly vector index coming from the SQL Server 2025, and the results in for 4 million rows. The results is the duration is about less than about less than 100 milliseconds. It's very fast.
Wow.
So yes, it's very fast. But the duration is seeing a little bit more. The reason of this latency is generating summary. But the vector search with the vector search function, it is really fast. And as you see, we can see it without translation and without summarization. Let me use this prompt as default. This is first run. Never mind it. Oh, okay. It's, yeah. Table search. You see the results in here like this. It's about 5 seconds, but the 5 seconds is about generating this summary. Searching the raw data as vector is less than 100 milliseconds. It's okay. So this is my 2 demonstration. If we have time after your speech, I can show my other 2 demonstration too.
Perfect. I'm really flabbergasted of how fast this search was. And you just showed that, hey, I can search 40 million rows in less than 100 milliseconds. That's amazing with text search. So I'm really, wow. Okay, thank you. So let's talk about RAG and how to implement them in SQL. But first of all, when to use RAG? When do we actually use them? So we use them if you want to have a chatbot or you want to have a context-based system where people are asking questions and they get an answer in return. You don't want them to do, hey, how many emails have customer 2242 sent? Or what's the total sales this month or something? That is a factual lookup. That is more of an aggregation or sum or something like that, where the RAGs are supporting free text search, where you have a question that needs to be chunked down and understood by a SQL server or a computer, and then it needs to search within the data and then return the best option for you. This is where you use the RAG. The RAG pipeline in T-SQL it contains of 5 steps. It is the vector search that finds the semantically relevant data from your database. So it searches the column that you define, saying, hey, search in this vector and find the best suited answer. Then it converts the SQL into a JSON structure for LLM consumption. This is what we just saw from Omar, where the result is returned in a JSON format, and then that structure is passed on to the LLM for interpretation. Then the prompt is a combination of the system instructions, where we tell the system behind the scenes on, you are an expert in, I don't know, invoicing or in insurance policies or something like that. And then you give it a context. And then we have the third option of the user question, where a user and end user asks a question. When all of this has happened, then we call the LLM endpoint by just calling a REST endpoint with the SP invoke external REST endpoint. And then the result given back to us is then a JSON object that we can then pass and then return to the answering system. So RAG in SQL is grounded answers. They are based on actual data, not hallucination. They don't need any data migration because it works directly on the data that you already have in your SQL Server. It just sends that results to the LLM, and then that LLM returns an answer based out of that data. And the security is preserved because existing row-level security, permissions, and encryption apply to all of this. How do we do it? We just saw it in perhaps the the fastest demo I've seen in using AI from Omar, where we can embed the question just using a vector size, and we generate the embeddings based on that vector, and then we use the vector search to find the best answer used out of the cosine. So we're now joining the first topic and the second topic in this search mechanism. This is then handed over to the LLM, and we got that here. We get a JSON object, we construct the prompt, and we create that JSON object and send it over to the LLM. And then we pass the LLM results to the large language model externally, wherever that is. It could be OpenAI, it could be Gemini, it could be whatever LLM model you have as a post, and then the return is the JSON objects that you then have to pass and return back to the end user as the answer. You can tweak and optimize and do all kinds of crazy things using all of these topics. It is not easy, so that's why we have a certification, the DP-800, which we're talking about today. Key takeaways: RAG, retrieve relevant data plus augment prompt with context, and then you have a generated grounded response in return that actually is based out of the data that you have in your database. Use the RAG when the data often changes. You can then use the fine-tuning when the data is static and domain-specific. The RAGs are really, really good for if you have a knowledge base that is being updated, or you have customer complaints coming in, or customer feedback coming in, and you want to search those. Use the RAG. Use the standardized store procedure, invoke external REST endpoint to bridge the gap between T-SQL and external LLM APIs. Know your way around JSON, because you need to learn about JSON with JSON object, JSON array aggregate, and JSON value. They are essential to working with RAG, because everything contains is JSON. Those are not difficult to learn, but it's still a part of the context for the certification to DP-800. Always, and I mean always, this is perhaps the most important thing, instruct the LLM only to answer based on provided context, or else you will have these hallucinations where it just takes something down from the sky and presents that to the end user. Give it clear, concise instructions, and then you're good to go. And if you have good RAG quality, then you also have good RAG responses out of your external systems. And use all of these methods that we just talked about in the prior slides. I'm talking a bit fast here because we only have 7 minutes to go, and I'm hoping that we could get to see the robot demo by Omar in just a few minutes. So the complete picture: model and embeddings. You can create your external model. Remember the chunkings, the sizes versus the performance. Then we have AI to help us generate the embeddings. We have the vector data type in sizes, 2 specific sizes. And maintain your models as good as you can. Use intelligent search. We have 3 options: the full text search, the vector search, and then remember the ANN versus the KNN. We have the hybrid search, and then remember that strange calculation we have about the RRF, the reciprocal rank fusion. And then last but not least, retrieve the format as a prompt. Retrieve the format, then prompt it, and then work with your JSON, call the external API using the standardized SQL store procedure, and then get the JSON back and extract the response and send it back to the end user using your desired front end wherever you are building that. I talked a lot about QR codes. This is perhaps yet another QR code. You already saw it on some of the prior slides. If you want to get ready, we have one more session where you can ask all the questions that you have, and they will be answered directly in the live chat in 2 weeks' time, roughly. That will happen on June 10, and register here to get the latest and most updated dates out of the website. Join the SQL user panel. Microsoft would love to hear what you have to say. Last but not least, join the Azure Data Group. The Azure Data User Group. You can always almost find a local user group wherever you live. So, Omar, I would love to see the demo of the robot. Can you show that to us in 3 minutes?
Okay, I will try. I have actually 2 demos, and one of them I will be quick. Share my screen, screen 2. Yeah. You know, the NotebookLM is very famous for the AI world, so you can use use it for all of documentation, all of your own RAG system. And I have a surprise for you. I wrote my own NotebookLM application running on completely on my on-prem SQL Server 2025. Let me show you. We can choose the model, LLM model here. The default is Gemini 2.5 Flash. It doesn't matter, you can change it. And let me show you a quick demonstration. I want to create a demo, for example, Board SQL Server 2025 book. Here is my embedding model, and I can upload my document here, and here is the PDF of the book, and it will take a little bit time. Then I will show you the demonstration I prepared before. Here is the same. This is Bob Ward's SQL Server 2025 book. And we can create summary, we can create mind map, info cards, infographic, podcast, and podcast audio, quiz, etc. Let me show you. And here is summary of the book. And I'm keeping this data on my SQL Server 2025 here, my database, NotebookLM, and here are notebooks. And here, this is the last. And here are the documents. And this is embedding section. And I'm using my SQL Server. I can create summary, create mind map. I don't know why it is not displaying. It doesn't matter. Cards, let me show you. Yeah, this is this quick question cards. And here is the quiz. And here is the podcast audio. While you are listening to this audio, can you hear the...
No, we can't
Can you hear the sound?
No.
You can't hear, okay.
It's fine. We trust you.
Okay. I will fix it.
It's fine, Omar. I think people are really wanting to see the robot.
Yeah,
We have
really.
2 minutes left.
Okay. Do you
The code
you hear?
name for the next version of a huge enterprise.
Yeah, now we hear it. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Let me show the robot.
I almost
And
can't
then-
sleep to wait for that robot.
Yeah. It's coming.
The silence in suspense. There you go. Oh, perfect.
Yeah. You see, this is my
Yes.
robot. And here. Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm fantastic, ready to illuminate the magic of vector search and AI in SQL.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
what are we talking about?
Tonight, we're diving into how SQL Server, Azure SQL, and Microsoft Fabric are becoming powerhouses for AI with vector search, embeddings, and RAG.
Who are we?
Tonight, it's Brian and Omar, and me, your friendly vector search guide.
Okay, buddy. We are talking about the DP-800 certificate, what do you want to talk about this new certificate?
Ah, the DP-800. It's your golden ticket to making SQL sing with AI, turning every query into an intelligent conversation.
Okay, buddy. I want you to do something for me. I am looking for a coffee which makes Feel Me Premium. Please suggest a product to me. It's querying on
Let me
SQL
ask
Server.
SQL Server for a premium. Fill me coffee.
I think it's not
For that
understood.
truly premium, fill me coffee experience you're after, I'd absolutely recommend the Mon and Gourmet Flavorings Premium Coffee Collection. It's designed to elevate your brew with sophisticated flavors, and our
I think
system
here
just
is-
found it as a perfect match for your request.
Let me show you the query here. Yes,
Wow.
this is the query directly sent to SQL Server. And thank you, buddy. Lots of people are watching you now, and they love you, and Brian is applauding you. And maybe you can thank the watchers and the Brian.
Thank you, wonderful audience, and a special thanks to Omar for crafting my brilliant mind. We're all here to make your data dreams a reality.
You forgot Brian.
Oh, Brian, of course, my apologies. The spotlight can be dazzling, but Brian is absolutely key to this fantastic DP-800 journey.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for great conversation. And the last thing, I want you to search something for me. I have a great friend, and my his name is Brian, and I want to search. I want to look a gift for his birthday. Can you suggest me a production? Please search it.
Let me consult our SQL index for the perfect gift for Brian. Absolutely. Based on what Brian might appreciate, I'd recommend the Support Shoe Gel Insole. It's a fantastic gift for comfort and pain relief, especially if he's on his feet a lot. A real win found through a bit of cosine similarity magic.
This is the vector search.
I love it, Omar. And what a demo to end this live session with. We have a lot of we have a lot of people in the chat asking for, hey, do you have a Git repo where they could copy this robot? Do you have something you can share with us? Because they want it. They want it now. That would be amazing.
Okay, I just wanted to make it a little bit funny, but in the real world, it uses the vector search on my SQL Server in real time. This is the vector search. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Omar. And to all the attendees on the live chat, thank you so much for attending. Thank you to our producers, to the Reactor, to Microsoft Reactor, and last but not least, a huge thank you to our moderators on the chat. They are doing a tremendous job trying to answer all the questions. Thank you for this live session. I hope to see you soon again. Omar?
Yeah,
yeah.
I hope to. I hope to. Yeah, I hope to with more demonstrations. And thank you for all the watchers. And we will see you again. Bye-bye.
Sure.
See you.
Bye. See ya.
Thank you all for joining, and thanks again to our speakers. This session is a part of a series. To register for future shows and watch past episodes on demand, you can follow the link on the screen or in the chat. We're always looking to improve our sessions and your experience. If you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can find that link on the screen or in the chat. And we'll see you at the next one.